Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Tactical Heretic. My name is Guy Estes, and I am The Tactical Heretic. So here we are in our usual location, my little outdoor range here in my back pasture, so being outdoors. There's going to be some background noise, traffic, boats, low-flying aircraft, what have you. So I ask that you just please excuse that, because there's nothing I can do about it. So today, we're going to be doing tests on the CCI Blazer 200 grain Jacketed Hollowpoint 44 Special. I've had these rounds lying around for quite a while, actually. I kind of sort of forgot I had them in my stash, buried in there. I suddenly remembered it and thought, hey, I can do a test on that. So to give y'all a look at these, so these are the Blazers. This is the aluminum cased round. Aluminum cases, not good for reloading, so this is to be an economical choice for shooters who are not hand loaders, but it uses the gold dot bullet. So gold dot has a good reputation as an effective hollow point design. On CCI's website, they advertise muzzle velocity for this thing at 920 feet per second. They had said, it said out of a barrel 8.15 inches long, if I remember right. And I think I do, because I thought that was a really weird length to use. Some sort of test barrel, not an actual gun that they fired it out of. For the first tests here, I'm going to be using my GP 100 44 Special with the 3-inch barrel. And I took 5 shots out of that earlier across the chronograph. The low velocity was 784 feet per second. The high velocity was 846. So that 5-shot average came out to 823 feet per second. So roughly 100 feet per second slower than what CCI advertised, but still pretty good, I think, out of a 3-inch barrel. So we'll see how it goes. So test protocol is I take 1 shot into bare gel and see what happens there. If the bullet does not expand, then further tests are pointless, because if it's not gonna expand in bare gel, it's not gonna expand. If it does expand in the bare gel, then I'll take another shot through a single layer of cotton t-shirt, then take at least 1 more shot through 4 layers of denim, and we'll see how it does. So if, in this case, if it does not expand with that first shot into bare gel, I'll just cease testing with the GP entirely and continue testing with my Blackhawk, which has a 4.6-inch barrel and gives another 80 or 90 feet per second of velocity, and go from there. Now, if the GP does start out well, if that initial shot does expand well, and we go from there, then I will have a subsequent video, where I test the same round with the Blackhawk. So it'll all come down to that first shot, and we'll just see where things go from there. So I will back off 10 feet here and take my initial shot. Alrighty. Well, yep, we did get some expansion. Let's see what kind of penetration we're looking at here. Altogether, about 11.5 to 11.75 inches of penetration. So a teensy bit shallow. The FBI protocol is at least 12 inches, 12 to 18 inches. My little Goldilocks zone in that is the 14 to 16 inches. That's just my personal preference. If I have to shoot in defense, there's a good chance there will be innocent bystanders around or family members around. In other words, people I don't want to shoot, so I want a bullet that is either going to stay inside my attacker's body, or if it does exit the far side of him, is moving slow enough so that it cannot inflict serious injury. So, at 11.5 inches, little on the shallow end. But good expansion. I can see it right there. I won't bother extracting the bullets until after I'm done testing, since that involves tearing the block up a bit. So I'll do my next test, the single layer of cotton t-shirt. Alrighty. Wow, looks like we got slightly less penetration out of that one. That one looks like it might be in the 10.5 inches. So I had mentioned the background noise earlier, so you're probably hearing the tractor right now, my son doing some work around the place. And yeah, 10.5 inches. Alrighty, so that brings us to the 4 layers of denim. And see what the results from that are gonna be. So, penetration's a bit shallower than I would have liked, than I was expecting, really. Alrighty, are you gonna stay there in that, like so? Yep. Gonna be a nice cooperative target. Okay. Alrighty, so now we've got the deepest penetration. Now we're at 17 inches altogether, but it did not over penetrate. So penetration a bit shallower than I would like, but whereas with previous tests it had all been deeper than I would have liked. And I got most of these in the upper part of the block, so you know what? I just might go ahead and do the Black Hawk tests right now as well. But first, let me extract these bullets. So the first one, I want to be careful not to tear the bullet up too much. So there's the first one. The second one, that sucker went kind of deep. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, I don't know, might be better to flip this thing upside down and try that. Okay, yeah, I should be able to do it from this angle without a lot of trouble. Of course, what I should be able to do and what I actually do aren't always the same, but I can feel the blade touching it, so I'm making contact, but geez, that sucker is deep. I got that thing almost right in the middle of the block. Can I get the needle nose in there to get hold of it? There we go. And again, almost perfect textbook expansion. Then we got the one through the denim. And while there's not a whole lot of expansion there, it looks like it was just starting to. There we go. And so, yeah. But for all of that, it did not over-penetrate. So, looking at these a bit closer, so there's the one that was fired into the bare gel. Again, textbook example of what an expanded hollow point should look like. Here's the one that went through the t-shirt, one layer of t-shirt, kind of simulating what an attacker, at least in my area, would most likely be wearing. So again, almost the exact same as the bare gel. Then through the 4 layers of denim, not so much expansion, it's just starting to deform, starting to tear up, but it did not exceed the FBI protocol of 18 inches of penetration. It's 17 inches. And it did a 180, by the way. It tumbled. It was facing back the direction that it came from. So even though it didn't expand, still would have made a respectable wound channel. So I'm thinking I can do the Blackhawk test here. So I'm gonna flip this this gel block around so that most of those are down closer to the bottom, and we're going to do this with the Blackhawk and see what happens. 4.6 inch barrel, so we'll get some more velocity. Incidentally, I did take the liberty of already doing the Blackhawk velocities, so I had a low velocity of 885 feet per second, a high of 938, so that gave us an average of 903, which is pretty damn close to what CCI advertised out of what they said was an 8.15 inch test barrel. This was out of a 4.6 inch barrel revolver. So I think that's pretty good. So we'll test that, same protocols, 1 in bare gel, 1 in t-shirt, 1 or 2 in the denim, and see what happens. All right. So again, looks like we got textbook expansion. Shallower penetration, 9.5, 9 3/4 inches. We'll call it 9 3/4 inches of penetration, which is to be expected. With that longer barrel, we're getting a higher velocity, about another 80 feet per second. So as a general rule, the faster a hollow point's moving, the faster it expands. Faster it expands, the sooner it comes to a halt. So now we will do the 1 layer of t-shirt. And again, looks like we got even shallower penetration. About the now this one's about the 9.5. First one was 9 3/4. This one's 9.5, so a little bit shallower. So that now brings us to the 4 layers of denim. What? Nope. Okay. From back there, I thought it went out the side of the, well, it grazed it and went in right there. I thought it had maybe popped out the side. Let me take that one again. Although the bullet is lodged in there, did not pass through. But let me try that one more time. All right, and again, both of them. Wow, that second one actually expanded better. Good thing I took that second one, because this first one, this top one, you can see it nicked the edge and dug in and went that way. So I was worried that might affect the performance, and it looks like it did, because that first one was kind of like the one in denim fired out of the GP. It was just starting to deform, Not a whole heck of a lot though. Penetration a tad shallower at 16.5 inches. The second one I took that hit square, that one penetrated to 14.5, so it's in my personal little Goldilocks zone, and I can see some expansion in there. So let me get the needle nose, get these suckers out, and see what we can see. So all right, so here's the first one. So first I'll get out the bare gel, the one that was in the bare gel. Come on. Don't be like that. There we go. So again, near perfect textbook example of penetration, of expansion. What an expanded hollow point should look like. And again, that second one damn near in the center of the block. It's a deep one. Huh. I might have to tear the block up more to get this one out. I mean, I'm gonna have to break it up and recast. It's time to remelt it and recast it anyway, after all of this. And y'all are sitting there watching, probably thinking, well, I'm glad he's not a trauma surgeon, huh? Aha! There you are. There we go. And again, near textbook expansion. These others are closer to the sides here. So I don't think I even need the pocket knife to get them out. So there's the one that came in from the side and dug in and penetrated about 16 inches. And there's the one that hit square. So alrighty. So again, to give y'all a better look, there's the one in the bare gel. Again, you see textbook example of an expanded hollow point. And here's the one that went through one layer of cotton t-shirt. Again, very good expansion. One layer of cotton t-shirt, because again, in the area where I live, that's probably what an attacker is going to be wearing, something along those lines. I live in the deep south. It is now May, so we are in the time of year where your glasses and gun fog up every time you step outside the house. So here's the one that dug into the side of the block, kind of nicked it and then dug in and buried itself in the block. And you can see, again, very, very little deformation. Still, it did not over-penetrate. It was like 16 and a half inches. And then here's the one that went through the 4 layers of denim that hit square. And again, very good penetration, very good expansion, penetrated to about 14 and a half inches. So out of the 3-inch and 4.5-inch barrels, I think these are pretty good little loads. Again, the bare gel and the t-shirt penetration was on the shallow end, especially out of the Blackhawk, where it was less than 10 inches. Now, what some people might be wondering is, all right, you would think 8 inches, 10 inches would be adequate penetration, okay? A frontal chest shot, front to back, a human torso is not that deep. But you're probably not going to get a perfect frontal chest shot unless the guy stands there and does a Superman pose for you. That's probably not going to happen. He could be at different angles. He might blade himself to you like this. Well, now it's got to penetrate deeper to reach vitals, to reach heart. I mean, it can hit the lungs, but not sure I would want to rely on that to stop someone, to incapacitate someone quickly, as I've read too many accounts of both people and game animals shot through the lungs and taken off and hauling ass a pretty good distance before they finally piled up. They might have their weapon pointed at you. Well, now your bullet, if you aim center mass and you hit him here, the bullet's got to pass through all of this, exit that, re-enter the torso. Human skin is very elastic. I have read that a lot of hollow points, a lot of expanding bullets, they'll be found when they shoot somebody on the far side just under the skin, because it kind of pushed the skin out a little bit but didn't quite make it. So after it passes through that and it tears through there, well, it's now got to get through this. That presents a lot of challenges for a bullet. So something that only penetrates in the single digits does that. Okay, let's say I hit the guy here and it passes through all of that. Well, that's what, 4.5 inches right there? And then it hits here, hits a solid bone, the sternum or something like that. You might have fatally shallow penetration on that. So that's why that's why they settled on a minimum of 12 inches and then the maximum of 18. I'm not entirely certain where that came from, but yeah, there have been cases where the bullet failed to penetrate deeply enough, and that did cause problems. I had said it in an earlier video, same thing, the FBI shootout in Miami, 1986. Now, there were a bunch of things, a bunch of different factors in that shootout, but one of the ones that was named was the 9mm Hollowpoint that shot one of the guys, hit him in the side, penetrated through here, and stopped just shy of his heart. I want to say it was either an inch shy of the heart, or it might have actually been resting up against the pericardial sac. But again, it wasn't quite deep enough penetration, and that guy went on to inflict horrendous casualties on the FBI. In fact, I think that incident was the worst day in the entire history of the Bureau. So yeah, that can be an issue. So looking at these, particularly out of the shorter barrels, I'd be inclined to think, it might do pretty well outside of a Bulldog, but who knows? I mean, with my Blackhawk, that's only another 1.5 inches of barrel length it has over the GP. That translates into this load, it translated into another 80 feet per second. In the previous load, those 190 grain lead hollow points, it translated into another 90, 95 feet per second. And you've seen this, and if you watch the other video, you also saw it makes a difference, a significant difference in how this performs. So, those are the Blazer gold dots. Now, I have read or heard somewhere that the actual gold dots in the nickel cases are slightly higher velocity. I don't know if that's true or not. Underwood, and in fact, this is what my 44s are normally loaded with. Underwood used to offer one of their lows with this gold dot. Unfortunately, they don't offer it anymore. I say unfortunately because in the test media I used before I was able to get the clear ballistic stuff, it performed very, very well. And so that was why that was my chosen load. I haven't tested it for y'all because it's not available, so I don't see any point in testing a load, and it turns out to be this great load, and oh, by the way, you can't get it anymore. So that just seems kind of cruel. So, this has been The Tactical Heretic. Thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe. Thank you.